Makes sense. And now let's say talking about the coursework, right, in the college. So can you tell a bit about how does the elective selection work? What kind of course schedule? How does the course schedule for ASU look like? We can also touch upon like which courses are relevant in terms of finding a full-time job and how difficult it is to like maintain a GPA.
Okay, that's a wonderful question. Okay, so ASU CS degrees, there are three different types of ASU CS degrees. One is the MSCS, Masters of Science in Computer Science. One is the MCS, Masters in Computer Science, and the third one is the MSCS degree comes with the option of thesis or the project work. The project work actually that's kind of same as the MCS degree. So MCS and MSCS. MCS degree has two flavors. One is MCS with a thesis. Another one is MCS with the project work. Okay. Then there is MCS degree, which inherently comes with a project work requirement.
Okay.
So MSCS with project and MCS is very much the same. There is just one difference. You cannot be a TA in the MCS degree. Okay.
Oh.
Teaching assistant, you cannot. Teaching or research assistant, both of these options are not for you if you are admitted for MCS. And the third flavor of the degrees is the software engineering degrees in ASU. Okay, so MS in software engineering, that's the name of the degree. Okay, MSc, I'll talk about all three degrees and the requirements, and the later part of the question, what courses are good for getting a job, right? That was the question.
Right.
So we'll touch upon that slightly later. Fine. So MSCS with a thesis option. This is a degree where you are expected to complete a certain coursework. Okay, so ASU has a very interesting coursework pattern. You need to complete like 10 coursework throughout your degree. 10 different courses. That means you have to pick like 10 different courses. All of it is very flexible. It's just that 3 courses you have to pick from 3 different buckets, and later all of the courses you can essentially mismatch and do whatever. Like you can even take a course from some other school as well. Like for example, a few of my friends took like course from business school, or electronics folks took from computer science and stuff like that. That's usually very common in ASU.
Okay.
So the 3 buckets are the foundations, I think applications, and data, I believe. Yeah. The name might be like slightly, my knowledge might be rustic about the names, but there are 3 different buckets from which you can choose the courses.
Okay.
Foundation courses, meaning those are foundational computer science courses, like foundation of algorithms can be an example. Application courses can be like the courses which are centered towards developing applications. Cloud computing can be one of the example. The data courses talks about fundamentals of data sciences or stuff like that.
Right.
The data processing at scale or machine learning can be some of the examples on this bucket. Okay, so you have to take 3 from each bucket, and once you are done with that, the rest of the 7 courses you have all the freedom.
Okay.
So this is pertinent for all the degrees. Now for MSCS you have to do a thesis. So you have to dedicatedly talk to a professor in your semester 1 mostly, and you have to basically impress him that, hey, I'm good enough to do a thesis with you, and once professor agrees, then you can do thesis with him. So that's like a prolonged project, and at the end you have to present your thesis. A great option for someone who is looking for research opportunities.
Okay.
Second one is the MSCS and MCS degrees, which I did. Okay, so here you don't have a thesis option. Even though one more thing. Okay, one very important thing, you can jump between the degrees as during your coursework as well. Like I had a friend who was enrolled for the MSCS thesis option, but he's like, okay, I don't want to do thesis anymore. Right. So he jumped from thesis to non-thesis. Okay. Here the 3 buckets which I mentioned, this stays the same here, meaning MSCS and the MCS degree.
Okay.
With the project option. The 3 buckets stays the same, and at the end you have to write a paper in which you have to you have to put in the information about the 3 most impactful project you worked during your degree, and you have to take a sign off from each professor who was your instructor during that time. So it's like a very formal procedure. So you have to write a report about the project. The professor will evaluate the project as well as the report, and they will if let's say they want some changes in the report, they'll reach out to you, and you can do the changes. There is like a review process which happens there, and once everything looks good, the professor will sign off. So you have a sign off. You have to get 3 different sign offs and write a paper around this. So that's the MSCS degree and MCS degree. Not
without thesis.
With the project option.
With the project option.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the last one is the software engineering degree, which essentially is a fusion degree in Arizona Tempe campus and the Arizona Phoenix campus. So within Phoenix, Arizona has different campuses as well.
Okay.
So here, I don't think that they had a project option, but they needed to like do a presentation at the end of their degree, meaning that they have to pick a course and then they have to present the finding of the course and the future research opportunities in that course. For example, let's take a simple example here. AI, for example, like deep learning is the course which you pick up, let's say, during your degree. You have to like through and through look at the very recent research which are happening in the deep learning area, draw a presentation out of it and present it for like 15 to 20ish minute, and that's like the degree requirement.
And I think during my time as well, I think in NYU we had multiple courses, and each course had multiple professors as well. And
That's
I think
right.
we used ratemyprofessor.com.
Oh, yeah.
That kind of gives you an idea of
I
like
get
which
it.
professor to choose for each courses. And just for everyone's benefit, I think for each course they have like, let's say, 3 professors. There will be seats opening up at a certain date, and then if you don't really get seat in one professor, then there's no other option but you have to take seats in other 2 professors. So it's very important for you to do your research,
Yeah.
or at Rate My Professor, or talk to your seniors, because some professors are very strict and you might get a lower or a medium grade, and some professors are easy, so you might get a good grade but for the same course. So same course might have different grades based on who teaches it.
Yeah.
Coming back to the point of, let's say, GPA, right? So in masters, everyone is like, there are multiple factors where people are focused on. People are focused on GPA, people are focused on getting internships on campus, full time, a lot of items.
Yeah.
Also get like the culture shock after you come from India to US.
Absolutely.
In these situations, what's the best strategy to maintain a good GPA? Like, what are some combinations that you should avoid in order to maintain a GPA?
That's a great question. I have very good pointers on this, which really helped me, and I learned it the hard way. Okay, so it goes this way. You said Rate My Professor, right? Rate My Professor is an excellent place to at least have a preliminary understanding of how the professor is, how strict he is with the evaluation, as well as when it comes to teaching. So there are a few professors who are great with teaching but not so great with the grading. Fine, you can at least get to learn a lot of things from the course. Some professors who are great with the grading, not so great with the teaching. Fine, you can get a good grade in that course. Some professors are like who are not great at teaching, not great at grading. You should avoid those professors. Okay. So at ASU, getting a course is a competitive business because a lot of students get enrolled and the number of seats are limited. It used to start at like 12 p.m. at night, and you have to enroll at 12 p.m. Otherwise, the chance is lost because whatever the number of seats are, those are gone now, and you will not get the you will not get the seat anymore.
Right.
So you have to be there. So what I used to do is I used to start a timer, and I used to put in all of the courses in my cart, and I used to be on they had like a nice checkout kind of like a portal. You just have to check out. You don't have to pay anything, but you just have to check out the courses. Okay. So I used to add all of the courses in my cart, and all I had to do was to click
that button.
Click the checkout button. Okay. When it is like 12.00.00, I used to write a microseconds timer in front of me, and as soon as it hits 12, I used to like hit the checkout button. The first semester, what happened with me is that accidentally, because I didn't know all of these things, what I did is I picked up hard, and medium course.
Okay.
So because of that, the coursework was very brutal, and it took like I had to invest a lot of time in order to get decent grades in the first semester. Okay. The reason being that not aware of how to do how to research professors as well as how brutal the grading may be for some of the professors. So the example of like great professor brutal grading, it happened to me for 2 courses in the first semester, and okay professor and okay grading with one. So that's one medium. Right. That's a very interesting way in which you can assess how much effort you need to put in every single course. So it goes this way. Before enrollment, you usually get like a brochure of, it's kind of like a syllabus. Okay. Right. For every university has it that, hey, you will be learning all of these things, right? So it contains a number that you need to invest these many hours per week in order to successfully complete this course. Okay. It can be 8 hours, it can be 10 hours, it can be 14, 16, that's variable as per the courses. Okay. Some of the courses, it has like 6 to 8 hours, 10 hours. Some courses it is 16 hours. So 16 hours, it's a heavy course, it's a hard course. Okay. It 6 to 8 hours, it's a easy course. Think about that. Okay, let's take a practical example. If you take 3 heavy courses, 12 hours, 12 hours, 12 hours, that means you have to invest 36 hours just on the coursework. 36 hours is more like 36 by 5, approximately 7 hours a day if you are working 5 days a week,
Right.
which is brutal. So you should not opt for all the 3 courses in the same semester, but like you should distribute them over multiple semesters. Pick one hard, pick one medium, pick one easy. That's usually the way to go. First semester my GPA got hampered. From the next semester I got smarter, and my GPA improved. So by the time I graduated, my GPA was like good. I would say good. Why
So
not?
basically, we should not kind of take all the hard courses in the first semester,
Absolutely.
especially when you're dealing with a culture shock. You are trying to get an internship, you're trying to perfect your resume, and then if you take all the hard courses, it gets really difficult.
I'm not including the on-campus jobs, because once they come into
start,
picture,
exactly.
everything also, it changes things.
And that's a good segue into like how do you start finding part-time jobs. And I think before that as well, I think one easy tip is just be friends with the seniors, because seniors have gone through it. They know the bad things and the good things.
Absolutely.
So when I was in NYU, I went through my seniors, I spoke to them a lot, and then they kind of advised me what courses to take, what courses to not take, which helped me maintain my GPA. Again, like 4-pointer GPA is not always required. I think anything above 3.5 should be good from a qualifying perspective. If you want to take hard course, sure, go ahead, but just make sure you're compensating for your lower GPA. Absolutely. So that your net is 3.5. And seniors again are the best resources that you can like go to.